Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo chats about Leica cameras, all things Leica. So today I'm going to talk about, I've been going back and forth about which is my favorite Leica. I've been using the M2 a lot with the 35. I've been using the M3 with a 50. But I want to say this is my favorite. This is the Leica M5 with a 50 Summilux. And it's got this crazy boss side hanging strap system where you could put the lugs, use the other lug and make it so it's just normal. But I like the side hanging camera strap. And that goes over my shoulder and it's kind of good to go. I don't have a cap for the camera. I just keep it in a case, pull it out and shoot. And it's one of those things where this is such an underrated camera. I don't use a meter in my M2 or M3 since I don't have one. This does have a meter. And I've heard that tech repairmen say that it's the best meter in any of the Leicas for accuracy. I don't know that I found that with this one. I picked this one up and I always thought the meter felt like it was a little bit off based on my Sunny 16 guess estimates. So I just use Sunny 16. And it doesn't matter to me if the meter is working or not. And it may be, but again, if I'm looking at the light, I'm thinking, well, it's a little bit slightly overcast. It's 250 f8 and it's saying 250 at 11. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I think it's 250 at f8. And I'm experienced enough to know what the exposure is, to not let the camera make me think, oh, I better underexpose some because it knows more than me. It doesn't. And that would be maybe my only caveat about the M5. Even though they say how great the meter is, I don't necessarily always find my version to be what I think is right. And I haven't tested it thoroughly because I typically just use estimate Sunny 16. But the camera is big. And I like big. If you're looking for something that you can hold with one hand and you feel completely solid with it, with that thumb grip, with the advance lever, with the shutter dial that actually extends over top of the body of the lens, so you can actually see in the viewfinder your shutter speed and you can actually feel it and change it without having to take the camera away from your eye like on the other Leicas. I like this. I think that this is the bargain right now. All the other Leicas have gone up in price and this has too, but I don't think it's gone up as much. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think that the Leica M5 has ever gotten the love of the M2 and the M3, M4, M6. And because they changed the body style design, I was talking last time about getting into a Leica on a budget. This might be the way to get in on a budget. You might have to go with a Canon lens at first. You might have to go with, a Russian lens, a Jupiter lens if you can't afford a Leica lens. But ideally, the M5 is still that undersought camera. The people who are looking to get into Leica aren't looking for the M5 as much. And again, the body is bigger. I find that body really comfortable to hold. And when I'm carrying it, I feel like I have a very solid piece of equipment with me that can do anything. And I've shot such great portraits with it. I'm experienced with it. I know that it has the ability to disappear in my hand and let me just work. And that happens with all my Leicas, but I think that with the M5, the actual bigger space to grab onto it, I think that's sometimes something I miss on the other Leicas. I think that the other Leicas, to me, I've always liked the big hand grip on a Nikon FM2 with a motor drive or an F3 with an MD4. I've always liked that big grip. So this actually is the big grip camera. And if you are looking to save some bucks, and also if you like big cameras, I think the hold of this is so much, to me, better than even the M2 and the M3. So, thousandths of a second top shutter speed, just like all the other Leicas. You can use any of the Leica lenses with it, except for a handful of lenses that protrude into the back of the camera because there's a metering arm. I don't know if I see it. There's a metering arm in there somewhere, and it has to be careful that you don't accidentally use a lens that has a deep flange that'll actually hit it. And maybe this one's missing it. I don't see it. Anyway, I'm not metering with this camera much. I thought that the metering arm, maybe because it's not advanced, or maybe it is advanced. There is like a metering arm that just sticks down, but I don't see it. Maybe it's broken. Anyway, the Leica M5, one of my favorites, and maybe my very favorite of the Leica bodies that I would say go to these kind of cameras. Get this one. This is the one to get. And you get the Boss sideways hanging strap. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon, and I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.